So our notes today is multiplying binomials and polynomials. So go ahead and title it. We're going to use the box method. So we learned about what a polynomial is when we started this unit. So we have binomials are a polynomial with 2 terms, trinomial, polynomial with 3 terms. Polynomial is a monomial, 1 term with the sum of monomials. So we are going to combine like terms after we multiply. So we are going to use what's called the box method. So our first example is 4x times 2x squared plus x minus 6. So one method that we've already done is distributing, where you distribute and combine like terms that way. So you can always use that method. The method I'm going to use right now is the box method because it keeps it more organized. So say I have 1 term times 3 terms. So I'm actually going to make a rectangle or a box to show multiplying these. So we're going to do
Just like the butterfly.
this. Where I have 4x on the outside. And then on top of the box, I'm going to do 2x squared plus x minus 6. So in the box, we're going to multiply the row by each of the columns and put a new term inside the box. And the term comes from multiplying a row times a column. So see how these kind of go together? So we're going to do 2x squared times 4x. So the first thing we do is multiply the 2 times the 4, which gives us 8. Then we do x squared and x. So we have an x squared and an x. What we do is we add our exponents when we multiply. So an x squared and an x make x to the 3rd power. Then we do 4x times x. So we could say that that's a 1. So 4 times 1 makes it 4. And then x times x makes it x squared. Then 4x times a negative 6. So we multiply the negative 6 times 4, negative 24. And then x doesn't have another, so we just carry that with it. So it's just 24x, negative 24x.
That's easy.
So we just write this as 8x cubed plus 4x squared minus 24x. There's nothing to combine. Everything was the same. We didn't have any like terms. Remember, a like term has the same variable and exponent. So that's it on that one. So let's do the second one. This one is negative 6y parentheses 3x squared minus 4x plus 5. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. I didn't give myself much room on that one. I'm going to go a little further down. And I didn't make them even. It really doesn't matter. It's just how it happened. So negative 6y, 3x squared, minus 4x plus 5. So we have two different variables here, but we can just put them right next to each other, tack it on. So we multiply our constants. So negative 6 times a positive 3, negative 18. And then you want to put the bigger exponent first. So x squared is going to go first, and then just put y there. Then negative 4x and negative 6y. So negative 4 times a negative 6 is a positive 24. And then just tack on the x and y. Then negative 6y times 5, negative 30y. And we don't have any like terms. Remember, like terms, same variable and exponent. So our solution is negative 18x squared y plus 24xy minus 30y. So far, pretty good. Just multiplying. So the next one is, instead of having a monomial, which monomials means one term, we're going to have a binomial out front. So 3x plus 4. And that binomial is going to be multiplied by a trinomial. Trinomial means two terms. So x squared minus 4x plus 5. So instead of having one term, see how we had one term here and we had one row? So now we have two terms. So that means we're actually going to have two rows. So remember how I said you could just distribute this in? Well, if you do that, the same thing here, you'd have to distribute the 3x into everything and then the 4 into everything. But the simpler way and the more organized way is using a box. So this is 2 by a 3. See how this is a 1 by 3, and that's one row, 3 columns. So since this is 2 by 3, it means a 2 row by a 3 column. I did not give myself enough room, but that's okay. It'll still work. So the 2 row, which means this row is 3x, this row is 4 plus 4, or just 4. And then our column is the trinomial, x squared minus 4x plus 5. Got your box set up? So now we'll multiply 3x times x squared, and it goes in this spot right here. So 3 times, that's a 1. If there's nothing out front, that's a 1. So that'd be 3x, x squared, and x to the first power, make it x to the third power. Because remember, you add exponents when you multiply. Then you have 3x times a negative 4. You could either multiply the 3 times all of these, or you can go 4 times that column. You get to decide which way you want to do it. I usually just go ahead and do 3x times everything. So 3x times a negative 4x is negative 12x. X times x makes x squared. 3x times 5, 15x.
Do we add the bottom row to the top row?
We will combine like terms. So then do x squared times 4. Makes that 4x squared. Negative 4x times a 4. Negative 4 times a positive 4. Negative 16x, just x, because we just have one x. Then 5 times 4.
1.
Okay. Where are your like terms found? Do y'all see them? They have to have the same variable and exponent.
Negative 16x and 15x.
Mm-hmm. So what I like to do is circle them. So 3x cubed doesn't have another x cubed. So we just write 3x cubed. And then negative 12x squared and 4x squared. So this is where you would say negative 12 plus 4. Different signs, keep the sign to larger. Negative 8x squared. Negative 16x and 15x. Negative 1x or negative x. And then plus 20. So these are equivalent. So the way you could check your answer, put this into y1, put this into y2, make sure they have the same table and graph. Let's go to example 4. 4x minus 3 times 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Go ahead and make your box. So make sure whenever you have a minus 3 that you put that as a negative 3. So go ahead and multiply them. So 3 times 4 is 12. X squared and x. Remember, we add our exponent, so that's like a first power, so that makes it a third power. 4x times a negative 2x. Negative 8. X and x make x squared. 4x times 1, just 4x. Negative 3 times 3, x, negative 9. Then we have x squared, because 3 doesn't have an x. Negative 3 times a negative 2. Negative times a negative makes it positive 6. Then we just have an x. Negative 3 times 1 makes negative 3. So we combine our like terms. See how they're diagonals? That's what usually happens. So 12x cubed, negative 9, and negative 8, and they're both x squareds.
Minus 17.
Yep. 6x and 4x.
6.
Minus 3.
Is it okay if we go to the next page?
Okay, now we are going to do something a little easier, actually. These are called binomials. So binomial is 2 terms. So we're going to multiply a binomial times a binomial. So this is x minus 5 times a 3x minus 6. You're going to find these are a little bit easier.
Are we doing 5 or 6?
6. Which I wrote 6 over here. So see if you can fit them in there.
Would it only be 4 squared?
If you can. So yeah, it'd be 4. So it'd be a 2 by 2. One way that some teachers will teach you, and this is the way I was taught, was using FOIL. So whenever you hear the word FOIL, FOIL stands for first term times first term, outer terms multiplied together, inner terms multiplied together, and last terms multiplied together. But that's a little confusing. So what I like to do is the box, like we've been doing. So this is a 2 by 2. Which actually makes it into a square. So it's x minus 5. And you can rearrange these. They don't have to be in this order as long as you multiply the terms. It doesn't matter what order you multiply. It still equals the same thing. Yep, go ahead and do it. 3x times x. It's 3x squared. Does this remind you of something in science?
I was thinking about it. It's
Dynamic keyword.
yeah.
Oh, the thing that's like the X.
Putting
Y,
it square.
Yeah.
Or what is it?
With the genes.
Oh,
Yeah, with the genes. Uh-huh. Yep. The different recessive and dominant. 3x times a negative 5. Negative 15x. Negative 6 times negative 5. Positive 30. And look at your diagonal. Yep, negative 15x and negative 6x.
Negative 21x.
So 3x squared minus 21x plus 30. Yeah, I think these are easier. All right, we'll do one last problem. 2x minus 5, 3x minus 4. That 3 kind of looks. There you go.
-4.
3x minus 4, yeah. So check your work as I work it out too. Then combine your like terms. And that should be your final answer. So your assignments on Delta Math, you have to show work and you will be turning it in. There's 10 total problems.